Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to start the session. I attended a couple of sessions this morning, and I know that you need a couple of seconds just to click the button. But now there's a couple of seconds that has gone by, so let's get this started. And I'm so happy that you've taken the time to be with me this morning, and also with Eletive, of course. And before we do anything else, and this is the session, by the way, and I'm going to introduce myself properly. I just want to point you to this QR code, and I'm going to point you to this QR code because this talk, it's going to go quite fast, and I'm going to mention a couple of things here as well, like resources that you can use, uh, cases that I've done, and I've gathered all of them in this QR code because once again, I know that I'm going to talk quite fast, and that's on me. But I also know that it's sometimes valuable to just have one place where I can gather, the resources that I share with you, basically. And every time you see the QR code throughout the presentation, then you know it's in there somewhere. So with that said, look out for the QR code. You can scan it now, of course, if you want to do that already, but look out for the QR code. Okay, that out of the way, let me properly introduce myself. And hello, Linda from Åre. I just came from Åre yesterday, so nice to see that you're with us in Åre, Linda. But I'm Johannes Sundlo. I'm partly people director, and I'm partly AI upskiller. So I work at a company called Avalanche Studios Group as a people director. On a daily basis, I work with HR. I try to my best sort of extent, lead the people partner team at Avalanche. But then part-time, I'm also working with organizations across the globe on upskilling, AI upskilling. So that is what I do. And I usually get a couple of questions like, what is this AI upskilling thing that you do? Well, I do customized trainings, basically, from 3 to 10 months with companies across the globe, as said. And this is my bragging slide. So I brag a lot that I actually, or I think at least, I managed to push the envelope on people's AI adoption. So usually people they learn a couple of things at least along the way, and they also save a couple of dollars along the way. But this is not for me to sort of talk about what I do, but usually I get this question afterwards, like, "Hey, what's this upskilling that you do?" And this is what I do, basically. Not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this. And this is a quote that was launched a couple of weeks ago. And it's from Toby Lutke, the CEO of Shopify. And he sent a memo to his internal staff, but that obviously leaked, and we also got to see it, the rest of the world. And what he says there is that before asking for more headcount and resources, team must demonstrate why they cannot accomplish their goals using AI, explicitly showing what their area would look like if autonomous AI agents were integrated as part of the team. Meaning that he wants people to think about AI first, people second, basically. And this shifts a lot of things. And I think he's onto something here as well, because what we actually are seeing right now is that AI can take more and more of the things that we do as humans. And I'm going to break it down for you a bit as well. But interesting trend here. Because we tend to see like, okay, this AI takes your job thing as like a on off thing as well. Like, so AI, ChatGPT was launched and then AI takes your job. Like it's a clear path to that, but it's not, and it's a jiggly line. But I argue that we are on that path to where AI actually takes your job. That's the path we're on. And make no mistake, these labs that are working with creating these AI models, for example, OpenAI and the founders behind ChatGPT, they are actively working towards creating a model where uh, basically it can do anything that you can do. That's their aim. Like it's explicitly their aim to do that. So, but it's not a straight line; it's a jiggly line towards that. So, and once again, they're saying that, and they're also backing that up with a lot of launches. And they're not alone in that either. Like you have a multitude of companies working towards launching AI in any shape or form that can do the job that we are doing. Uplifting start, right? Like, so we're gonna get replaced. No, we're not. And I think that we're actually quite good, but we'll get back to that. But I mentioned, like, they're not only saying it, they're also launching stuff as well that points to that direction. And the first thing I want to mention here then is deep research. And deep research is a tool launched by ChatGPT. Let me know in the chat if you've tried it. If you haven't tried it, I highly suggest that you sign up for ChatGPT Plus. It's $20 a month, and then you get access to deep research. And what deep research does is basically it creates a short report or almost like a thesis, a master thesis of sort. And it gives you an overview of whatever topic it is that you want it to create, basically. And as you see here, you have the QR code as well. But you can sign the if you click the QR code, you can actually see the deep research report that I created here, which is in regards to a big reorganization. I hypothetically took a reorganization scenario. Like, how could I reorganize a company? We need to do redundancies in a couple of countries. Make me a plan that is legally valid in all these countries, and also work with change management across the board on how to do this. And I got, I don't know, 15, 16 pages with a full-fledged report outlining what I need to do, how I need to do it, and with the legal actions sort of required in the countries that I mentioned. And not only did I get that, I also got links backing this up, basically. It's not that it just hallucinates that or takes it out of thin air. It points me to, okay, if you want to do this in Denmark, if you want to do this in Paris, here's where you can read more. So not only is it creating the report, it's also backing that report up with actual data. And I love deep research. Like, you can try it in endless ways and shape and form, but I highly suggest that you pay those $20 and you try it. And for example, the Pay Transparency Act that is coming 2026 in the European Union, I've tried it. I think most of us, we've struggled with how to implement that, basically. Well, deep research can create a plan in 10 minutes, and then there you go. And it's totally valid. It's totally usable, for example. So once again, they're saying, hey, we want to replace you, or we want to create AI agents that can literally take your job. And they're also backing it up with releasing deep research, for example. And then last week we got O3. And once again, like, you need to sign up for the paid subscription of ChatGPT to use O3. But O3 is, from my perspective, it blows my mind. The possibilities here are endless, because all of a sudden, like, this is almost like a thinking person, I would say. And it's kind of hard to explain as well, and you almost need to try it in order to feel it, because it's some kind of feeling in regards to, okay, you type something in, you get something back, it backs it up with sources, and it knows its stuff, basically. And the hallucinations that used to occur in ChatGPT, they are, of course, to some extent still there, but not in all, and in the same capacity as before. And the possibilities with O3, from my point of view, is endless. Like, this is just a couple of things that I've tried doing with O3 that it just nails, and it nails it in the first sort of in the first go. Like, you don't need to go back and forth. You just tell it, this is what I want to do, and it does that as well. And my sort of litmus test for all these models has always been like, can you do a scheduling exercise for me? Like, take into account the horrible Swedish labor law that is required around scheduling. Like, you need to have certain amount of rests and whatnot. And can you create a schedule for me? And most models have never ever managed to get that right, even after like multiple tries, multiple multiple suggestions, and back and forth. O3 just nails it on, like, instantly. So once again, it's point in the direction that they're after our jobs. And then we can also talk about agents. And this is an example of an agent called Replit. You can try it yourself. Once again, it's in the QR code here. Replit is basically a no-code tool where you give it an assignment and it does it for you. And in this case, I wanted it to build an ATS, so an applicant tracking system. So I told the Replit here, hey, can you please build me an ATS? And it does that. And this is my own ATS that I built. It's fully functional. It took me a couple of hours to build. I would say mainly 1 or 2 hours, somewhere in between there as well. It cost me $30 to build. And it's, once again, it's fully functional. Would I use it in a large scale enterprise? No, I would not. But would I use it in a smaller firm, smaller setting where it's good enough to have an ATS that is like this, like with a clear and clean front end and a usable back end? I would. So once again, I give the agent a task, Replit in this case, and it just creates that for me. And make no mistake, I'm not a coder. I can't code a single line of code, even if you put the gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to do this. But with Replit, once again, I just tell it, I want this, and I want it to look like this, and then can you code it for me? And once again, like before deploying this in a real and live environment, I wouldn't maybe not do that, but still, it shows once again the direction we're heading. All good then, right? Or yeah, sorry, no, it's not all good. Like obviously, what's the catch here? Well, the catch usually for us in HR is that these AI models, they are great to some extent, but can they really understand emotions? Like the emotional part is still something that is unique to us humans, right? And they can't call us, right? You need to text, so it's quite wonky. Well, let me introduce Sesame to you. Sesame is a conversational agent, a conversational sort of AI tool, basically, that you can try yourself as well. Once again, using the QR code or go to sesame.com. And the beautiful part of Sesame, or the beautiful part, but the interesting part at least, is that you can call it and you can talk to it, and it understands your emotions. It sort of feels where you're at, and it also remembers your conversation. So meaning that if you go in now and then you go back in 2-3 weeks, it will pick up the conversation where you left it a couple of weeks ago. So once again, is this coming for our jobs? Might be. Does it know emotional truly like that we humans do? No, it doesn't, but it mimics that at least. So what's left for us to do? Well, I'll get back to that once again. But make no mistake, once again, the world is spinning it's just spinning faster and faster and faster. And once again, they are aiming towards this, for them at least, utopia where there are literally no knowledge work left for us to do. And this is just and you saw that this is my hand drawn shape that I've done myself, basically. But uh, as you can see, the pace is picking up. It's not slowing down. If you asked me a year or 2 years ago, like, Johannes, do you think that the AI development will slow down? I would probably said, yeah, it's a lot of hype right now, and we'll see a plateau, and then it will it will be integrated, and then that's good. But it's not. So it's actually this 4 months that we've been through 2025. It's more insane than ever. It's picking up in a speed that's almost unheard of. We're getting new models almost on a weekly basis, and there's a lot of problems with that as well. Obviously, safety testing, for example, is the most obvious one. Like, are they truly safety testing their models? We hope so, and by the look of the papers that they release in conjunction to the models, it looks like that as well. But that's an obvious pitfall, right? So the pace is not slowing down, and that means that the cost of knowledge is also dropping tremendously. And I would even argue that the cost of knowledge is almost on the verge of nearing zero, because once again, O3 the feeling you get when you talk to O3, ChatGPT, or for that matter, Gemini 2.5, which is another really, really good model, the feeling is that you're talking to a somewhat experienced colleague. So the cost of knowledge is dropping. And one can only think about then, what does that mean for us as organizations? Well, we're holding true to some extent because even though we have all of this, like we know, it's a matter of fact that we have this technology, like the tech is there, but yet almost all large firms are investing in AI, but yet only 1% consider themselves AI mature. So we have the technology, it's quite cheap, we have that, all of that going for us, but still only 1% consider themselves AI mature. And that is because tech is not the limiting factor here any longer. We are the people, the organizations. We are the limiting factor in all of this, and that's both good and bad news. And I'll come back to why it's both good and bad news. But we are the limiting factor. The humans are the limiting factor right now. And we've also put up a lot of guardrails against this, especially in the European Union. Which, once again, you can argue, is it good, is it bad? Depends a bit on how you view it. But we have the EU AI Act. It was launched 1st of August last year, or 2nd of August last year. And that has implications on us as well, as people, people partners, but people, HR people. That has implications towards us as well in the people function. And the main obvious one, and once again, like I won't go into details around the EUAI Act, but I really think that you should get acquainted with the EUAI Act because once again, it has a lot of limitations towards us in the people function. But one very sort of obvious one or very clear one that I want to state is that we have this AI literacy requirement in HR. And that came into effect 2nd of February this year. And what that means is that we need, as organizations providing AI tools, for example, if you have Copilot in your organization or if you have ChatGPT in your organization and that is readily available, you need to provide people with knowledge and competence around using these tools. You need to educate people on the risks, but also the possibilities. And that is a hard legal requirement. And it's a bit like blurry exactly in terms of like, do you need to then educate them for hours or is 1 hour good enough? Like it's a bit blurry. And they say explicitly from the EU AI office that it needs to be done through sort of a best effort approach, meaning that you should do your best to educate your people, but you need to educate your people. And that is the most sort of burning issue or burning topic that we have in regards to the EU AI Act. Then once again, there's a lot of things to take into account when it comes to the EUA Act, but that is the most obvious one right now. We need to have this. We have this literacy requirement, and we need to educate our people. So once again, we're putting up guardrails against also this whole okay, it will take our jobs thingy, or it will impact us in any way, shape, or form. So I'm confused now. So on one hand, you say like, okay, all of this is happening. And then you say on the other hand, we have the EU AI Act, we have limiting factors on the people basically. But so I'm confused. What do you mean? What should we do? Like what's this? Be clear. And usually that's usually what my wife says as well. What should we do? Well, I think that all of this is a bit of a speed bump. Once again, the sort of the limiting factor might be us humans, it might be the UA Act. It's merely a speed bump. We'll get over this as well. And the tech is marching on. Like, make no mistake, the tech is marching in an insane pace once again. And I think, yes, to some extent, the UA Act might slow it down a bit. Yes, it might be a problem that we're not fully implementing this in organizations yet. But there will be incumbent organizations that are AI ready from the start, that can do more with less, that will challenge almost every assumption that we have around organizations, for example. Because once again, going back to the quote that I started with from Tobias Lütke, the CEO of Shopify, like if there's a Shopify coming up that instead of hiring people, have AI agents working constantly around the clock, which is to some extent utopia still, like they're not good enough yet. But with the speed that things are picking up right now, I can't see it in any way or shape or form that we will have a Shopify that is more or less run by AI agents. Yes, there will be humans as well in that loop, but the organization that can manage both, that can say like, okay, for this part we do AI agents, and for this part we do humans. Those organizations who can effectively manage that balance between agents, between AI, and also between humans, they will win. So I think this is a speed bump. Yes, we might be good for now, but long term, AI will impact us profoundly. So what do we do then? Well, good question. So for me, education is A and O. We need to educate our people, and I say that not as an educator myself. Like, I don't care who you use. Like, you need to educate your people. If you haven't, if you feel now that I don't know enough myself, like, educate yourself. And in the QR code, I have a link to 40 hours of free AI training. It's everything from very technical AI trainings to more like, hey, this is how you prompt ChatGPT. But it's free. And yeah, you can just go in and click the link, and I've done all the courses myself, so I can vouch for that they're good. But you need to educate yourself. You need to get this profound knowledge around, okay, how will I use AI? And AI is a broad term, I know that, and I'm simplifying a bit, but for me, the foundation is using chat tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever it is that you're using in your organizations. So educate yourself. Like, I can't state this enough. Like, time is scarce here. Like, this is happening here and now. And if we don't educate ourselves, I worry that we will fall behind in the HR department, but also like as a species almost. So educate yourself. Please do that as well. And the QR code will come again. I don't worry. The QR code will be visible as well. But educate yourself. It's truly truly important that you understand what's going on. And the chat is the interface. Like, and we tend to see like, okay, this is a new tool. Well, it's not a new tool. It's a thing that will impact our organizations. See it more as like, okay, this is a colleague, or this is something that can help me achieve my goal, versus just another tool. Because it's so easy to think about this as a technical tool that, oh, it's just implemented from the IT department and everything is good. No, it's not. Like, this will once again profoundly impact organizations. For example, if we have this now O3 ChatGPT, I'm talking a lot about that, and not sponsored, by the way, unfortunately enough. But if we have this tool, we need to understand how to use the tooling and when to use the tooling, and then we need to educate yourself. We need to have this basic proficiency, basically. And provide clarity as well. Like, after you've done the education, provide clarity to the organization as well. What's what here? Like, when can we use AI? When can we not use AI? And you need to provide that clarity and take that responsibility as an HR person. Provide the clarity. And if you don't have a policy, write the policy. It's much needed for almost everyone to have that clarity. And then I really like this 5x automation rule, meaning that if you do something 5 times in a month, then you need to automate it. So if there's something that is occurring in your day job 5 times that you manually do, automate it. And have that lens, like, okay, this is my process, this is what I do, and and you can write it down or you can just reflect on it. But if it's reoccurring, automate it. That's I really like that rule as well. And curiosity did not kill the cat. And in all honesty, this is just, I needed an excuse to show a cat picture, but it did not kill the cat either here. And let people explore and play with AI. There's this lingering feeling that AI is scary still. It's not. I mean, we trust Microsoft with almost anything. Like, you trust it with your financial data. Most of us still run Excel in the background somewhere. We trust it with, usually at least, we maybe are exporting stuff from our HR system into Excel. Like, we trust it with so much data. But for some reason, it's still stuck with us that AI is dangerous, that it's looking into our information, that it's stealing our information, that it's training on our information, and that information will leak. it will not, like, it's not dangerous. It's not dangerous at all, I would argue even. Yes, it has problems. Yes, it has biases. Although it's overcomable, they are. And once again, it goes back to education. If you educate yourself, you know this. But let people explore and play with AI. Don't set up, like, going back to the clear policies as well, don't set up too harsh guardrails. I know military companies, I know official government bodies that are exploring and playing with AI, and they deem it safe. And if they deem it safe, I'm pretty sure that you can deem it safe as well. So don't be overly stingy about setting up super strict guardrails. The only sort of my own red line is GDPR, meaning that if I need to shift information, once again, like it's these models, like if you do it properly, you can use personal data in the models, but then you need to have the consent to use the personal data, and you also need to have like a data processing agreement, meaning that you need to have a separate agreement either with ChatGPT or Microsoft. But that's technical. I can talk more about that separately. But don't be overly cautious with AI. Play with it, explore, try it, and see it as a friend more than anything. And I really want to underscore that this is not about tech. It's not. The tech is easy. Like, give me an hour and I'll teach you everything I know about ChatGPT, and you'll walk away from that session happy and knowledgeable, and you can use it. But the change part of this, the change management aspect of AI, is super hard. The good part is that we got this. This is HR's home turf. Change management, knowing when humans are needed, when humans are important, what happens with culture if you introduce AI, what happens to employer brand if you just let ChatGPT write all your job ads just out of the blue. This is our home turf. We got this. We need to add a bit of AI sprinkle on top. That's what we need to do, and we need to understand what's happening. Once again, I have the free resources where you can dive into all the technical aspects, all the technical details of AI. But we got this because we know what makes an organization tick. We know what makes people tick. Now we need to just see, okay, when do we use AI? When do we use people? But that's easy. AI is easy. Don't let anyone else fool you around that. AI is easy. The hard part is the parts that we know, that is our home turf. Change management, it's people, it's organization, it's culture, it's values. That's the hard part of this whole AI transformation. And we got it. So don't be afraid to use AI. Use it, play with it. Don't be afraid to fail as well. But don't forget that your ground competence, like the core of your competence, is the most important competence that we need right now. It's that HR people-centric approach that we need. And if you let that flourish, then we got this. And with that, I say thank you. And we have 2 minutes for questions. Ooh, always, this is always challenging because I usually talk too fast. I will answer the questions. Or try to answer the questions. Let me see if I can bring this to the stage. I can't, but Hanna Jansson is asking, how do you support employees in becoming more open to the changes that come with AI transformation? A lot of people are naturally prone to embrace changes, so curiosity how you approach that journey. Well, for me, it's 2 things. It's education, it's policy, and it's education and policy basically, or like clarity, as I talked about. Like, I think we have a moral and legal responsibility to take care of our people, meaning that we need to upskill them in how to use AI, basically. We need to give that basis or the ground to stand on. And we also need to have clear policies on, okay, this is what we use it for. This is how we use it right now. And once again, I think that is a almost moral obligation to do. But yeah, that's how I see it. And there's a lot of questions. And we have 1 minute left. So very, very scarce, very, very scarce resources here, or time to ask questions. I can, you know what? If you scan the QR code, I know we're over time, but if you scan the QR code, I'll answer all the questions and I'll put them up on the QR code link. So give me a day and I'll answer all the questions. I'll put them in the QR code link here as well. So you'll get an answer to your question as well. And with that, a couple of seconds over overdue. I say thank you. And I also got from now, I can actually, I can talk in chat and mingle. I can jump to chat and mingle as well, if I have time. And I actually have like 15 minutes to do that. So I'll jump over to some kind of chat table. I'm not sure where it is, but we'll figure that out as well. But I'll also answer the questions on in the QR code. So thank you a lot for all your engagement and for the questions. I'm going to take a screenshot of all the questions before I do anything else. I'm so worried that I will lose them otherwise. But cool. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic Wednesday.